On the vast, snowy plain, 4 cars were full of people, and the forward speed was not fast at all. Xingtian led more than 500 of his men to rush all the way and blocked their way. Xingtian sat on the back of the demon wolf and laughed loudly. "Xiao Honglian, Wei Dinghai, why are you in a hurry to leave?" Xiao Honglian and Wei Dinghai had to come out and face the Xingtian army in its prime. At this time, the morale of the entire Xingtian army was high. They did not participate in the battle just now, but watched from the sidelines. They were eager to try and planned to fight. So at this moment, they gave Xiao Honglian and Wei Dinghai the feeling of a group of howling wild wolves. Xiao Honglian and Wei Dinghai couldn't help but feel depressed. If a conflict broke out between them at this time, it is very likely that they would die here. "Xingtian, you didn't abide by our agreement to attack Zhang Yi's shelter. What do you want to do now?" Xiao Honglian raised his sword eyebrows and pointed at Xingtian and shouted loudly. Xingtian twisted his mouth and sneered, "Don't you know what I want to do? You two are both wealthy local tycoons. I'm here to collect some money. The toll is not excessive, right?" Faced with Xingtian's blatant robbery, the people of the 2 bases were extremely angry. But they could do nothing about it. After all, they were all wounded and could not withstand another large-scale war. Wei Dinghai said to Xingtian, "Xingtian, I don't understand. As long as you join hands with us to take down Zhang Yi's shelter, we can share the entire Xishan district and Lujiang district." "But why did you choose not to help either side? Have you known about Zhang Yi's background for a long time?" This was the doubt in Wei Dinghai's heart. He had to ask it out. Even if he lost, he had to lose clearly. Xiao Honglian also stared at Xingtian. She didn't know why Xingtian did this. Xingtian folded his arms and said lightly, "The reason is very simple. Qingpo Base does not have as many vehicles and energy as you, so it does not have the ability to exercise long-arm jurisdiction. Even if we win this battle, I will not be the opponent of your 2 major bases when dividing the territory." So, Zhang Yi promised to give me 10 tons of food, and I agreed happily. He spread his hands. "He gave me 10 tons of food and I don't have to do anything, and you painted a rosy picture for me and asked me to fight to the death. Tell me, what should I choose?" Xingtian's words made Wei Dinghai and Xiao Honglian not know how to refute. In fact, they did have such a plan. Once they captured Zhang Yi's shelter, they would immediately occupy the best territory and resource points with their high mobility. In this regard, the Snow Worship sect and the Qingpei base had no way to compete with them. It's just that they didn't expect that Xingtian would think of contacting Zhang Yi. Xingtian was too lazy to waste words with them. "Okay, now we should talk about tolls." His smile became more and more perverted. "How much supplies are you going to take out to buy the way?" Xiao Honglian and Wei Dinghai had no choice but to offer a large amount of supplies in exchange for Xingtian's forgiveness. Xingtian was overjoyed. They didn't fight much in this battle from beginning to end. As a result, they made a fortune in terms of supplies. And with the decline of the 2 major bases, they will be promoted to the top force in Tianhai City from now on. Everyone thought that I, Xingtian, was a fool. But now look, who is the real fool? Xingtian laughed happily. Back to the shelter the group gathered. Around the dining area and on the dining table were lavish feast. Zhang Yi then spoke in a celebratory tone. "Thank you all for your hard work. Let's have a celebration banquet today with all you can eat to make up for what we went through these couple months." So with that speech, the group immediately dig in, enjoying their victory to the fullest. Meanwhile, at the infirmary in the lab, Zhang Yi approached Zhou Qi with an empty trail, and upon seeing Zhang Yi, Zhou Qi smiled and said Liang Yu's operation was over. Zhang Yi set the trail on the counter, but now it was filled with a warm meal. He then asked Zhou Qi how Liang Yu's injury is a big problem. Zhou Qi said the wound was deep, but I had already stitched it up. However, since she is an enhanced mutant, her body functions are better than ordinary people, and her recovery speed is very fast, so it won't be a big deal. Then Zhou Qi curiously asked Liang Yu did so good today. Right, she helped in all kinds of conveniences that might have occurred if the battle had dragged on any longer. Hearing this, Zhang Yi playfully pinched Zhou Qir's cheek and said yes, but in critical moments your medical skills were also needed to save lives. On the other side base of the Snow Worship sect were Yuan Kongye, the leader of Snow Worship sect, and a couple of followers that stayed behind. Patiently wait outside to welcome Zhang Yixian and the other followers back upon their arrival, Zhang Yixian immediately reported. Leader, fortunately, you have lived up to your mission under the blessing of the Snow God. We have achieved a great victory. The evildoers in Morning Dew Base and Radiant Prosperity Base were severely injured by us, which greatly damaged their vitality. From now on, they will no longer be able to pose a threat to our Snow Worship sect. Hearing this, Yuan Kongye's face immediately lit up. Delighted, she then approached Zhang Yixian and grabbed his hands. Thank you for your hard work, High Priest. The gods will not forget your achievements. Hearing such words brought joy to Zhang Yixian, but his face was saddened. He told Yuan Kongye that they also lost many devoted believers, including 2 priests. They didn't leave, they came back here. I can feel their presence, said Yuan Kongye. Zhang Yixian then paid homage, saying, May every deceased be with the Lord. Now nothing can stop our expansion. I want the glory of the Snow God to fill every corner of Tianhai City. Then there is the whole territory and even the whole world. Let the Snow God become the only true God, and let the glory of the Snow Worship sect last forever. Then all the followers respond in unison, the glory of Snow, the Worship sect, will last forever. After experiencing great joy and great sorrow, people will grow rapidly. After this battle, all the villas around the shelter were destroyed by artillery fire. Zhang Yi also formally invited Uncle Yu and his wife and Fatty Shu to live in his shelter. Everyone has experienced many life and death battles and has established a certain degree of trust. One loss, all loss. One gain, all gain. In addition, no one can guarantee that the war will not happen again, so it is safer for them to live in the shelter. Zhou Haimei is undoubtedly the happiest. As an aunt in her 40s, although she is still youthful and beautiful when she dresses up, like all older women, she likes to be lively and can't sit still. Now that everyone lives together, she can cook with Yang Mi every day and call a few girls to play cards together. The shelter is full of a warm and pleasant atmosphere. Zhang Yi, Fatty Shu, and Uncle Yu play poker or video games together when they have nothing to do. Even Liang Yue can come out with a bandage and move normally. Fatty Shu asked Teacher Liang, "Are you feeling better?" Teacher Liang looked at Fatty Shu and went to her room. Lu Karen said, "Don't mind. Teacher Liang has been like this for the past few days since she woke up." Zhang Yi said maybe her mood has changed. Let her go. It doesn't seem to be a big deal. Everyone enjoys the hard-won happy life, but also becomes a little lazy. So much so that the half-broken ice and snow defense line outside is too lazy to clean up. The large number of corpses left by the great warriors are also too lazy to take care of. What is there to rush about? The most powerful forces in Tianhai City have been driven away. Who else would dare to attack without long eyes? Zhang Yi came to the window to look at the snow scene. Suddenly, he noticed something strange in the scenery in front of him. Outside, the vast snow covered everything, and the snowflakes were still falling, sometimes big and sometimes small. Is there something missing? Too clean? Zhang Yi frowned and thought for a while and suddenly realized that something was wrong. Corpses. Why are all the corpses gone? The Battle of the 5 Armies left thousands of corpses, but now there is not even a single one left. Zhang Yi felt horrified. How could more than 1,000 corpses suddenly disappear? He remembered that they were still there yesterday afternoon. Could it be that they disposed of them? Zhang Yi was not too nervous, but picked up the telescope and searched carefully to make sure that he was not dazzled. But he searched carefully and finally confirmed that it was not his eyes that were dazzled, nor that the corpses were buried by ice and snow. Those corpses really disappeared. Zhang Yi's heart tightened for no reason. There are many strange things in the end of the world that cannot be explained. Even living things can mutate. Will corpses also mutate? Zhang Yi took a deep breath to calm himself down. He changed into combat uniforms, prepared his weapons, opened the door, and went downstairs. "Hey, are you going out?" Zhou Haimei looked at Zhang Yi, noticed that he was dressed very formally, and was a little surprised at what he was going to do. "Nothing. There are some changes outside. I'll go and take a look." Zhang Yi looked out the window and walked out the door silently. Zhang Yi came outside, holding a gun in his hand, and walked towards the battlefield step by step. The densely packed corpses here have disappeared. A night of heavy snow covered many things, but it could not completely cover up all traces. Thousands of corpses disappeared at the same time, and there would always be clues left. When Zhang Yi approached, he finally found something wrong. Around here, under the snow, he vaguely saw many footprints of varying depths. There were so many of these footprints, as if a large army had passed by. And there were no footprints coming, only leaving. Zhang Yi's back shuddered, as if something cold was staring at him from behind, and his hair stood up, because he realized that these bodies were not stolen by someone, but stood up and walked away from here step by step. Zhang Yi turned his head fiercely, but there was nothing behind him. His heart was pounding, and he felt a little relieved after clapping his hands twice. Even Zhang Yi, who had killed countless people and experienced life and death, felt creepy and even terrified because of this weird thing. He took a deep breath and said to himself, "What's there to be afraid of? I have killed so many living people, even if there are dirty things. What can they do to me?" Zhang Yi bravely walked forward along the footprints that appeared vaguely on the snow. He found that these footprints went to the east, and he couldn't see the end at a glance, and he didn't know where these bodies went. Zhang Yi was still a little bit taboo in his heart and didn't dare to follow alone. He returned to the shelter, took off his helmet, and gasped. Yang Mi and Zhou Haimei were a little nervous and hurriedly asked Zhang Yi what he found. Zhang Yi didn't tell them directly, but asked them to call everyone over. The two called everyone as they were told. Everyone was sitting on the sofa in the living room wearing relatively light clothes. Seeing Zhang Yi in combat uniform, they felt a little strange. Zhang Yi said, "Don't be afraid of what I'm going to say next. Take a deep breath and calm yourself down." When he said this, everyone couldn't help but start to get nervous, so they took a few deep breaths according to his instructions. Then, Zhang Yi slowly opened his mouth and said in a calm tone, "Last night, more than 1,000 bodies outside the shelter disappeared. I observed the footprints on the ground. They may have walked by themselves.